Hi, my name is Stephanie Sahano from Sacred Self Healing. And today, the daily painting that I'm going to do is called I'm In Over My Head. The reason that I feel like I'm in over my head is I'm suddenly and unexpectedly leading a team of people to do a project on very short notice. And it's because somebody who was supposed to be the team lead went out with COVID. I've never done this kind of job before. It's a volunteer job. I don't know any of the people involved on the team. It has to do with interpreting the chat messages and announcements into 4 or more languages, potentially, at least 4 languages. And I've never done anything like this before. And one of the languages I'm supposed to be creating interpretations for, I don't have a translator for that language. There's 4 or 5 people on my team. I'm not exactly sure how many yet, and I'm trying to come up with a strategy for us to share the workload, but it feels like I'm in over my head. So that's the reason for today's painting. Alrighty, ready to start doing the inking now. I'm starting with the feet and legs, and it's warbly like this because it's underwater. That's how I'm representing feeling like I'm in over my head. It's as if I was underwater. Oops, I suppose these hands should look warbly too. And the heart too. Except for that little bit of the head which is above water. That doesn't have to look warbly. And my thought bubble is also above water, so it doesn't have to look warbly. My thought bubble is saying, please help. I have actually put the word out requesting help from everybody on my team to help me think about how I can get the translation to the missing language and how we can delegate so that each person has one language. I think that's going to work the best. But still, even with all that, I don't have confirmed people for each language. And there's going to be some interpreting on the fly because I'm going to brush off the eraser dust while I talk. Because there will be announcements that we didn't get in advance, that we can't know in advance. So we're going to have to figure that out as we go. Will be exciting. Hopefully it will be a great workshop. There are usually great workshops. And hopefully I will learn plenty and it'll be worth the stress. And what will make it worthwhile will be if I make it worthwhile. It's my thoughts about it that will make the difference. So getting to remember that is useful, and then also remembering that I can breathe, and that breathing will be useful to keep my nervous system regulated. I'm finding that I'm feeling a little bit dysregulated today. And we're just going to do some experiments with color for a moment to see if I can make it look like it's underwater a little bit, like see if I can change the colors. Yeah, I think I can. So I think this, well, maybe I need a little bit more pink in that. This might be the color of my skin underwater, a little bit bluer than normal. Right, and then I'll do something with my hair. A little bit bluer where it's underwater. I think that's going to be my strategy for the whole painting. A little bit blue underwater. And normal color, just for that little bit above water. One time when my daughter was 16, we went snorkeling and everything looked very much bluer than it does normally. Like underwater, everything had this really cool tinge of blue. Made everything look cool, and water is cool, so that makes sense. The water we were in was cool anyway. Oh, I forgot to add the blue to that one. Let's just... Well, there you go. Another occurrence of being able to adjust a mistake on the fly, and that might be a thought that I could use while I'm leading this team of translators for this workshop, that it's possible to correct mistakes on the fly. I did send them an email about that, so I think I feel kind of prepared for that part. All right, so now I'm going to figure out a color for the purple of my outfit. It's going to be bluer than normal. Let's see how that goes. Oh yeah, that's a really pretty color. I need to remember that color for the future. That is so beautiful. So today when I realized that I was going to be doing this job and everything that it entailed, I got into feeling overwhelmed. And I popped out of my window of tolerance. The window of tolerance is where you're functioning really well and where your creative thinking exists and things like that. And I definitely popped out of my window of tolerance when I found out about this job and felt how unprepared I felt. I'm working on the teal of the bottom part of my outfit next. Oh, I forgot my shoes. I'll go back and get some of that color for my shoes. Anyway, the thing was that for the first time, instead of just succumbing to the feeling of overwhelm, I was able to recognize what was going on was that I was feeling overwhelmed and that I had popped out of my window of tolerance. And then it made it a lot less scary because I knew that I was out of my window of tolerance. And then if I did some breathing, I could get back into my window of tolerance and that everything would be okay. And that's a kind of agile thinking that I did not used to have access to. And I am really glad to have access to that now, because that means I recognize it when it's happening and I know what to do about it. And that feels very empowering because I know that I don't have to be trapped. Like it used to be that if something upsetting happened to me, I felt like I was stuck in the upset all day and I needed sleep to reset me. But now I don't need sleep to reset me. Now I can do it myself when I want to, like on demand reset. And it just took me a few minutes. I cried for a few minutes about feeling overwhelmed, and then I did some breath work things that I know how to do because of the breathwork facilitator training that I'm in. And then I was okay in the end. Like within a half an hour, I was like back to my baseline. So that felt really good. All right, now let's see. I want a good color for that thought bubble. I think I just might use this pink because it's my favorite and I don't have a lot of it because everything is a different color being underwater. And this is the color I always use for my heart. So maybe it's like trying to get back into my heart center by asking for help. Asking for help has not traditionally been a strength of mine. So the fact that I even decided to ask for help is an indication that something in my world has changed. I would have felt like I had to do it all myself before, and I would have put a lot of pressure on myself. And this way, I can share the effort with other people, and I don't have to feel that burden, and I can relax a little bit more about it. Okay, now for the water. Now this is going to be a question, how to do the water. I think I'm going to get a larger paintbrush. And I think I'm going to drop in a lot of water and do some wet on wet. I keep tilting the page because I'm trying to see where the water is. I mean the actual water, not the image of water. Because I need the whole page to be kind of wet in order to pull off this wet on wet technique. I can always add some later if I need to. So this is me having beginner mindset, figuring I'll figure it out as I go. This is one of those places where it could be that ignorance is bliss because I have not tried too much of this wet on wet technique. I've seen people do it in videos. It seems to be spreading out as expected, I think. Maybe I could have used more water on the page. And for whatever reason, my water brush is not releasing water. There we go. Now it's better. Now it's flowing. I'll figure it out. I'm not worried. Huh. That is actually, when I said that, that is what I need to be saying to myself about figuring out this translation thing. I'll figure it out. Don't worry. And one thing that breathwork is doing for me is just helping me tolerate the sensation of discomfort that I'm experiencing because I don't know what I'm doing. So that's probably a good thing that I'm able to tolerate the feelings of discomfort. That also is like a growth of my nervous system. I'm going to put in a few more other colors. We'll see what happens with these. Just to add maybe some depth. This is another blue that has a little bit of greener tint to it. Yep, I'm liking the look of it. The big brush was helpful. And I think I'm going to just dab in a little bit of purple here and there. A different purple than my outfit, but just a little bit to make it a little bit more interesting. I like it with the more purple. Color play, that's one of my favorite kinds of play. Play is an important activity of daily living. We learn better when we're playing. We can learn with fewer repetitions and fewer mistakes and retain it longer when we learn using play as a modality. And maybe that's why I figured out that thing about telling myself, I'll figure it out because I was playing with color. Right? How can you go wrong when you're playing with color? Color is one of my happy places. All right, so I think we're going to call it good with the painting. Being in over my head. on day 601, and I will see you in the next video. There will be information on how to contact me in the slide at the end of the video. Thanks for watching.